Yo, 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 yo. How y'all doing? What's up, everybody? Can y'all hear me? First of all, can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me, first of all. Sorry, had a little bit of a delay before we got started, but had to switch it up a little bit. Can y'all hear me, first of all? Zeno, what's good? Just let me know if you can hear me before we get started. Had some difficulties trying to go live. So let me just let's allow. Okay, I see we got some people catching up to the live. Let me just let people know on Instagram that we are live right now. Just give me a second. Let me just let people know on IG that we are live right now. Let me just make sure we do that. Okay, I see we got some people. What it do? LeBron is the GOAT. People already start. This is not about LeBron, man. Just relax. This is not about LeBron. Shout out to the Bronx. Welcome in. Let me know where y'all are coming in from. Let's give it like another minute or so. Let me just make sure I let everybody know on IG that we're going live. Just give me a second here. Just give me a second. Let me just make sure. Shout out to MJ. Happy 60th birthday. As a DC resident, it was an honor and privilege to see the GOAT play when he was with the Wizards. Also looking forward to seeing that new doc about MJ with the Wizards. Absolutely appreciate that. Zeno Omega. Appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, let's give it like another 30 seconds. Make sure you check in and let us know where you're coming in from. St. Louis, I see you. Shout out to LA, Buffalo. Shout out to Buffalo. That's the home of Griselda, one of my favorite groups. Shout out from Austin, Texas, Nashville. Okay, we got some people coming in from Detroit, Bompton. Welcome in. Miami, Maryland, Sweden. Let's go. Welcome in from Louisiana. What else we got? Atlanta, GA. Never been to Atlanta before. Shout out to Serbia. Wow, we got Serbia in the house. Las Vegas. Shout out to Las Vegas, DMV. Shout out to the town. Toronto, Queens, New York. It's funny, Queens, New York. I was just watching Coming to America yesterday with my lady, and we were just laughing about the fact that he said he's looking for a wife, and then he pulled up Queens and went to Queens. So shout out to Queens, Mexico, London, Greece, Cuba in the house, Detroit. Hey, appreciate that 720s. Pittsburgh, Tunisia. Welcome in from Tunisia. Tacoma, Washington. Man, wow. And in I think he meant to say Indiana. Eddie Murphy, yes, he is. Shout out to Trinidad and Tobago. Okay. Shout out to the Philippines, Jamaica, Wagwan. Shout out to my Jamaican people. Went to high school with a lot of Jamaicans out there in New York. So shout out to Jamaica. China, welcome in from China. Wow, China, wow. In Chicago. Anyway, so let me get into this. Live here, man. As I said, I had some technical difficulty before going on, but I said, okay, let's just do it this way today. Now, y'all know that today is Michael Jordan's birthday, and he's turning 60 years old today. And I just got the idea this morning when I was talking to Marco. Shout out to Marco, the co-founder of Dreamers Pro. He's also on here. Say what's up to Marco. And I was like, why don't we do a live today, surrounding MJ? And Marco was like, yeah, that's a good idea. So I sat back and I thought to myself, I said, what's the most interesting way that we can talk about MJ today? And while I was thinking about it, the NBA, their YouTube page, make sure you follow us on Instagram. I just pinned that to the top. Make sure you guys follow us on it. We got a lot of cool content on it as well. The YouTube page of the NBA, they drop a highlight video featuring Jordan's top 60 moves of his career, top 60 highlights of his career. So I sat down and I started to watch that highlight video. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but when you get off this live, I definitely recommend you go watch that. I think House of Highlights and NBA put together the best, and sometimes Bleacher Report, but House of Highlights and also Bleacher Report, they put together some of the best compilation highlight videos out there. I think they did one for Kobe Bryant's top 100 plays. It was incredible. So they put together this highlight video of Jordan. And I said to myself, let me watch this to kind of just prepare myself before I do the live to get into this whole thing about why I believe, and I think many people believe, that Michael Jordan is the undisputed greatest player of all time. So I start to watch the highlights. And as y'all know, I wasn't old enough to watch Jordan play live with the Chicago Bulls. I was born in 87. Now, there's some people that used to attend basketball games at 2 years old. I wasn't one of them, okay? I was not one of them. So I didn't see Jordan play live when he was the Bull. And it's one of my, I'm so disappointed I didn't get to see it, because I really feel like I missed out. So I was watching the highlights, and there was some moves that he did that I've never seen him do before. Let me tell you guys something. I've watched highlight videos of Kobe Bryant, who's my favorite player of all time. I've watched highlight videos of Allen Iverson. I've watched highlight videos of Stephen Curry. I've watched highlight videos of LeBron James. I've watched highlight videos of Vince Carter. I've watched so many of Shaq, you name them. Of all of the players that I've ever seen, nobody from beginning to end, literally, had my jaw on the. I was watching some of his moves, and at certain points, I was asking myself, is this dude flying? I've never seen somebody actually palm the ball the way Jordan used to palm the ball, with that level of body control and that level of strength and creativity, and finish over defense. I've never seen nothing like that before. Never seen nothing like that. Now, let me get to the heart of the reason why I'm doing this live. There are a lot of people out there that are trying to make these weak-ass arguments that know really Jordan's legacy and his career and his resume is not really that untouchable. I would beg to differ. I want to break down Jordan's career in different stages. I'm going to talk about his basketball game, like the actual eye test of watching him play ball. I'm going to talk about his accomplishments. I'm going to talk about his impact on the game in basketball. Then I'm going to talk about his cultural impact off the court globally. Because y'all know there was just a poll where they asked Americans who is the most popular American athlete, or excuse me, the greatest American athlete of all time. And on that poll, I was absolutely astonished to hear that 19% of the voters, 19% said Michael Jordan is the greatest ever. The next person on that list, I believe, was I think it was Tom Brady, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just pull it up real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram. Let me just greatest American athlete of all time. Just give me a second here. Let me pull up this article. I just had it here. Oh God, let me see. I think Tom Brady came in number 2. I think it was Tom Brady, and then I think after that it was Muhammad Ali. Right. It was Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Muhammad Ali, I think Babe Ruth, Kobe Bryant, and then LeBron James. It was something like in that order. So I want to talk about his global impact as well. Let's talk about Michael Jordan's basketball game for a second. Before we even get to his stats and accomplishments, let's look at him as a basketball player. Let's start there first. Jordan, if you look at his basketball game, he's one of the few players in NBA history that you can legitimately say did not really have any flaws in his basketball game. If you look at Jordan's fundamentals, Kobe Bryant, in my opinion, is one of the most skillful and fundamentally sound players of all time. And Kobe said that one of his goals when he plays is to make sure that all of his movements are sharp and they go in a particular direction. Every single move Jordan did, he barely over dribbled, and he almost always was able to get to his spot efficiently and pretty much do whatever he wanted to do. He was quick and he also had speed. He also had a tremendous amount of balance. He had incredible footwork. He was extremely strong. And the fact that Jordan was able to palm the basketball, I believe, gave him an advantage over so many other great players because of how he could control the ball. I've never seen a basketball player finish with that many clutch shots, double clutch shots, just palming the ball and literally eluding defenders. One shot I saw him make, he went up. He actually was able to block somebody from trying to block his shot with his offhand and still finish with his right hand because he could palm the ball. I've never seen somebody do that. If you look at his athleticism, I don't think of any NBA player I have ever seen, I don't think I've seen somebody levitate the way Jordan levitated. If you go back and look at the NBA highlight video that you just put up, go watch that video and look at his hang time. It's unusual. He has like an unusual level of hang time. If we get to his offensive package, Jordan, I would argue, from the half court line going to the basket, I would argue he is just as much as a force finishing at the basket as LeBron. I would argue LeBron is a better finisher in the open court, full court, when he gets ahead of steam. But when Jordan is even past the halfway point of the court, he finished over defenders pretty much just as good as anybody I've ever seen. Literally. His strength alone to dunk over dudes like Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, some of these physical 7-footers that were actually looking to create contact with you and still finish over these guys, I've never seen it. As a Kobe Bryant fan, I've seen Kobe finish over some big dudes, but I've never seen somebody do it so effortlessly. If you look at his defensive package, there was a play that he did. He came from the weak side to block a guy. No. Sorry, not the weak side. Somebody was driving to the basket. He blocked the shot with his offhand. The ball was about to go out of bounds. He then goes out of bounds. Tip throws the ball back in with his right hand behind his back and keeps the ball in play. I've never seen somebody create those type of opportunities on the court at that level. If we look at him from an offensive standpoint, Jordan had no weaknesses. A lot of people say that Jordan wasn't a great three-point shooter. I think the reason, apart from the fact that the NBA did not focus on threes, I think Jordan understood that it was absolutely unnecessary for him to take threes because he could literally do whatever he wanted while barely shooting threes. If I look at let me look at Michael Jordan's career stats real quick. I'm going to look at his career attempts from threes. Michael Jordan. Let me just look at his career attempt from threes. I think it got to be less than 3 3-point attempts a game. Let me see. How many threes did Jordan attempt for his career? He shot, what did he shoot? Let me see. Jordan attempted for his career. Let me just pull it up here. Let me just see. I don't think Jordan attempted that many threes. Let me just pull up his stats here. I think he attempted less than 3 3-point shots his entire career. Let me just pull it up real quick here. Yeah, I don't think he attempted more than 3 3-point shots a game. Let me just pull it up here. I don't know why I can't find his stats. Okay, here. I got him from NBA.com. Let me pull him up. Somebody said, "Stop crying, Steve." I'm not even reading the chat right now. I'm just trying to stay focused on what I'm doing here. Let me just pull it up. Yeah, overall for his career, Jordan only attempted 1.7 threes a game. I think the reason Jordan did not, less than 1.7. I think the reason he didn't attempt so many threes was because I don't think he saw any need to. Defenses couldn't stop him anyway. So he's like, why would I even need to do that? Now, I believe Jordan was capable of shooting threes. And if he focused on shooting threes, I think he would be a very good three-point shooter. Probably a 38, maybe 37 to 39% three-point shooter. Some people say, but what will make you say that? Well, if I look at his other stats, he did shoot 50% from the field for his career. That's one thing. So, or close to 50% from the field for his career, 49.7. He shot 83% from the free throw line. So I would assume that given the fact that he was a pretty good shooter, probably the best mid-range shooter of all time, and a great free throw shooter, he would be able to master that shot. Something else I think that gets underrated about Jordan's game is this. I think if Michael Jordan wanted to, I think Jordan could have averaged a triple-double if he decided to. I think if Michael Jordan decided to, he could have averaged a triple-double. If you watch him play and you look at some of his assists, he definitely had the court vision to do so. For example, I don't think Kawhi Leonard could average a triple-double. I don't think so. I think Jordan could because I believe his court vision was actually that good, and I think his passing gets underrated. We don't spend enough time actually talking about Jordan's passing. He was actually a very good passer, and in one point in his career, he did average 8 assists per game for a season. Appreciate that, Eric C. Thank you so much for that. He did average 8 assists a game for a season. And the reason that is, I believe, because at one point in his career, he was asked to play the point guard position. And then all of a sudden, he started racking up triple doubles. So I think Jordan's passing game gets underrated as well. I think he's an excellent passer. And if you go watch him play and look at his passes with his court vision, I think Jordan, if he chose to, could have averaged a triple-double or at least 9 assists in a season. I believe that. Now, I noticed some people watching this live that will say, yeah, but I think LeBron is an overall better passer or player, than Jordan. Well, are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? Let me ask you guys this. Do you think in their primes, Michael Jordan could have a season where he averaged 10 assists? Let me hear what you guys say. If Jordan put his mind to it, do you think he could have one season in the NBA where he averaged 10 assists? Just one season. Good. Most people are saying yes. Let me ask you guys another question. Do you think if LeBron put his mind to it, he could win the Defensive Player of the Year and also win the scoring title in the same season? Be the Defensive Player of the Year and lead the league in scoring that same year? Somebody said absolutely. How many times has LeBron led the league in scoring and made all first defensive team? How many times did that happen? DC Grace, the years MJ took a high volume of threes, he shot a high percentage. It was the years he shot a low volume, he shot a low percentage, which proves if he gave more opportunities, he made more. Very good point. Appreciate that. I don't think he could. I don't think LeBron could. I don't think he could. I don't think LeBron could lead the league in steals for 3 separate times. I don't think so. I don't think you can. I don't think he could lead the league in steals and then still win the scoring title. And I just don't. There's no evidence that will suggest that. There's no evidence that will suggest that. It's never happened. And if it's happened, it's only happened once. So to me, if we look at his game, I think Jordan's game was perfect. If you look at any basketball player out there, and you want to look at a perfect basketball game to emulate your game after, depending on your size and what position you play and all of that. But if you're a 2 guard or a 3, I would try to patent my game after Jordan, to be quite honest with you. I would. Now let's get to the accolades. Let's get to the accolades for a second. MJ, think about this for 1 second. This guy, who I really, at certain points after watching his highlight video today, at some points I was asking myself, and I'm not even being funny, by the way, watching the way he was like levitating and all of that, I was literally asking myself, is this human? It doesn't look, the things he was doing doesn't look like it doesn't look like something a normal human being should be able to do, in my personal view. It didn't look normal to me. I could be wrong, but it don't look normal. You cannot pull up any athlete that ever played basketball, really, in the NBA at a high level, that was behaving, body moving like that. It's kind of weird. It really is. Because it wasn't just he could jump high, but he could also levitate. And he had incredible body control. I've never seen nothing like that. I've seen Kobe make a few shots like that, yes, but I've never seen somebody consistently I've never seen that. I've never seen that. You cannot pull up any NBA player and you can consistently pull up highlights. Like, it's freaky. And I think that one of the reasons I think MJ left such an indelible memory on image in people's memories, is because of that fact. Go watch the last highlight video the NBA did and listen to the way even commentators were reacting to this dude. They were just as in amazement as the people in the arena. These guys are supposed to be they were like actually amazed. The other thing I noticed is that the way they used to say Michael, this may sound like I'm reaching or whatever, but the way they used to say Michael, it was like, I really think that NBA fans and commentators, I think they were genuinely captivated by this dude. I think there's something going on where you watch it and you just cannot believe what you're seeing, to the point where you just become captivated. That's what it looked like to me. Because if I'm looking at these highlights and it looks like that to me, I can only imagine what it looked like to people who saw it live. Somebody left a comment on the post that we put up on the channel about Michael Jordan in Game 6. I'm watching the game yesterday, and I'm like, yo, hold up. Scottie Pippen has a bad back. Hold up a second. Because I think an argument could be made that Michael Jordan game, Game 6 of the 1996 NBA Finals, is arguably one of the greatest, or if not for sure, one of the greatest performances, not in NBA history, in sports history, period, because of the circumstances. Think about this for a second. That year, the Chicago Bulls, they knew that it was going to be their last year together. Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner, he made it clear. Phil Jackson was not coming back. Michael Jordan said, if Phil is gone, I'm retiring. So they all knew that it was going to be the last dance. And many people at the time were wondering, was he already past that team? Were they already past their prime? Mark Monroe, I would love to have a friendly debate on this from the other side because there are a lot of holes that we don't discuss about the Jordan's career. Anytime, man. You just leave a comment. We could talk about it. I'm not against that, but I don't know how to really put all of that together for live and going back and forth. But appreciate the comment anytime. Thanks for the support as always. So they were wondering, was this team past this prime? Because certainly Chicago Bulls management, they thought so. They thought so. So the Bulls were playing against their own team. They were playing for their coach, and they were all playing with the mentality like, this is it. This is it. Appreciate that, MGP cycling. This is what they were thinking. So what happens? They go through that crazy run, which Jordan said was the hardest run they ever had. I think when they faced the Indiana Pacers, if I'm not mistaken. Game 6, Scottie Pippen has a bad back. Go back and look at the Last Dance docuseries. The guy could barely walk. Forget about run. He could barely walk. He left the game like 2 or 3 separate times to go to the locker room for them to work on his back. So your second scoring option is non-existent. You have everything that's happening in the back of your mind, and you know this is it. You also know, to a point that a lot of our viewers brought up, if the Bulls lose that game in Game 6 in Utah, they might as well, they most likely would have gone on to lose that series because of Scottie's back injury. He wasn't going to get better in a day or two. He wasn't going to get better. Yo, if you continue this, I'm going to, all right, you know what? You acting like an idiot, so I got to block you. You're an idiot. 1 second, real quick. You're an idiot. Like, you're taking a little bit too far. What's wrong with you? This is what happens. You see, this is what happens. These dudes don't even like our content. They be up here. There was a video today of a dude that went on Max Kellerman with Jay Williams and started fighting with these people. Talking about, yo, Keyshawn, were you the one I saw back in 1987 with the black Ferrari? He was like, what the hell is going on? Nah, you guys are being too disrespectful. Jay Williams is like, yo, I just said LeBron is the GOAT. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? He said, I said he's the GOAT. What are you talking about? I'm a hater. No, you was being a little bit too disrespectful. Like, yo, what? Come on, stop. Anyway. So he goes into that game. Pippen can barely walk. He can barely walk. The guy scores back-to-back clutch shots. You're talking about this is for everything. There's nothing else after this. Very difficult shots. Appreciate that, South Holland. Never catch a live piece. Hey, appreciate that, man. Thank you for being a part of this live. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. The guy then goes on to score 45 points of the 87 his team scored, which is more than half of his team's point. The dude generated over 50% of the offense and then hit the biggest shot in NBA history. Some people would disagree. I'm going to tell you why that was the biggest shot. Because no other shot in finals history had that much riding on it. Some people will say it's Kyrie's shot. I disagree, and I'll tell you why. Do you know why? Because if Kyrie Irving missed that shot and the Golden State Warriors win, guess what? There's always next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. For the Chicago Bulls, there was no next year. That was it. It was over. So to me, that was the greatest single shot in NBA history. Let's look at his accolades for a second. We all know the obvious, that Jordan is a 6-time champion, won the finals, six-time, has 6 MVPs, 14-time All-Star, 10 scoring titles, and all of that. But there's another aspect we don't look at. some people say LeBron has been dominant for so long. I would disagree. I would say that of all of the top 10 players, or at least the top 5, not obviously depends if you put Bill Russell in it, then that's something else. But if you're not going to factor in Bill Russell, maybe because of the talent at the time, if you just compare Jordan's career to, say, LeBron's career, Jordan played for 15 years. He played 13 with the Chicago Bulls. 13 with the Chicago Bulls. 2 with the Washington Wizards. So he played 13 years with the Chicago Bulls, and he retired at the age of 35. At the age of 35, MJ has 6 titles. 6. You got to ask yourself a question. If he had 6 titles in 13 years, but hold up. If he has 16 titles in 13 years, I'm assuming we're counting the year he missed, or maybe not. It means that Jordan, for roughly 45 to 50% of his NBA career, he was winning titles. Let's stop and think about that for a second. For about 40 to 45% of the time, he was winning titles in the NBA during his prime. Kobe Bryant won titles 25% of the time. In 5 years, Kobe got 5. Same thing with Tim Duncan. So I don't think we spend enough time talking about the amount of time this guy was able to accomplish all of that, given the limited time he played. People are talking about what LeBron did over time, which is incredible if we're talking about an endurance factor or aspect of it. But if we look at it from the standpoint of this guy accomplished all of that in that little time, that's incredible. To me, that's what makes him easily the greatest player and the more impressive career. Because let me ask you, what's harder to do or what's more impressive? If you're a boxer and you go 50-0 in 20 years and the other guy goes 50-0 in 15 years, who's more impressive? It would obviously be the guy that did it in less time. But it's not just the fact that he won 6 titles, it's what else he did. How many categories, for people that believe LeBron is on Jordan's level, how many categories has LeBron James led the NBA in? How many categories? Let me pull it up. Let's look at the categories that he's led the league in. Let me pull it up for a second. And this is why it irritates some people when I say it's not close. Some people think that's disrespectful. To me, I think it ain't close. It's not even close. If you just look at it from an objective standpoint, it's nowhere near close. But what I've noticed is this, and I'm going to get to the category thing in a second. I've noticed something. Today, I was looking for some stats for a short that we're producing next week. And it was so hard to find these stats. And I was looking for how many game winners does Kobe Bryant have? How many game winners does Michael Jordan have? How many game winners does Carmelo Anthony have? And do you know what kept on popping up in my browser? Just go, when you get a chance, go on Google and use a neutral browser that you're not signed into and just start searching for how many game winners does this person. And what would surprise you is that for like the first 3 pages, it was article after article after article Each and every one of them had LeBron. I'm like, well, wait a minute, what? Why are so many articles that whenever you search most clutch, it's always him popping up? I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm searching for Carmelo Anthony, I find LeBron. I search for Michael Jordan, I find LeBron. I search for Kobe. I'm like, wait, whoa, what the hell is going on? What's going on? Is everybody writing the same thing? And it makes me wonder, there's really been a serious push to really push this thing. You guys don't even understand how much you're put. You don't have a clue. That particular thing is not normal. It ain't nowhere normal. But anyway, how many categories has LeBron led the league in? Let's pull it up. He's led the league in scoring once. That's one category that he led the league in. He's led the league in assist. Once. Let me see what else. Has he ever led the league in steals? No. So LeBron has led the league in his career in two categories. He led the league once in assists. He led the league once in scoring. That is all, folks. Bleep. That's all. That's all. Let's pull up Jordan for a second. Jordan led the league. Think about this. In categories, he led the league as the best defender one time. He led the league in scoring 10 times. That's already 11 categories. He led the league in steals 3 times. This guy led the league in 14 different categories. 14 different categories. 14. If you now throw in individual rankings like defensive teams, it's a joke. It is actually a joke. Actually, it's a joke. Now, let's get to the other aspect of Michael Jordan. Let's talk about Jordan's impact on basketball. MJ is easily the most influential basketball player that has ever lived. And it has nothing to do with hype. When they were marketing Jordan in the 80s and the 90s, they were marketing him on something that was fundamentally true, which was Jordan was actually successful. That's the fundamental difference. Jordan, when you say, I believe he can fly, I believe he's this, I want to be like Mike, they were doing that because literally this guy was dominating the sport. So it was very easy to sell. But when you're not dominating a sport, it becomes very hard for people to buy into something that they don't see. Look at what the Golden State Warriors have done in terms of them winning championships. Look at what that has done for Stephen Curry's popularity. The Golden State Warriors went to what? Let me say what? 5 or 6 NBA championships? No, they went to 6 NBA championships, if I'm not mistaken. 6 of them. They won 4 of them because I know they lost 1 to the Cavs and they lost 1 to the Raptors. Think about what the Golden State Warriors, that championship run they went on. Think about what that has done for the legacy and the popularity of Stephen Curry. Now imagine somebody doing that twice or even 3 times is better. That's MJ. That's MJ. Almost every basketball player says that Jordan is the person that made him want to play basketball. LeBron James said it. Allen Iverson said it. Jamal Crawford said it. Kobe Bryant said it. He influenced everybody. Everybody. I think the second most influential ball player, maybe not on kids, but maybe on actual NBA players today, maybe not on the kids, for sure, in my personal view, I think it's Kobe. The reason I say that is because Kobe meant a lot to NBA players. He meant a lot. And I see a lot of guys in the NBA today wearing Kobe Bryant shoes when they play basketball games. I've seen a lot of them. A lot of dudes wear Kobe shoes when he plays. A lot of NBA players do that. A lot of them. And it got so bad at one point because NBA players were wearing so many of the shoes, it created a problem for Nike because they were actually running out of old shoes because his shoes all of a sudden started becoming so popular. So I would say Kobe's probably the second closest. But in terms of Jordan, he's in a different stratosphere. Mark, you doing it again today, man. Hey, just so y'all know, I'm not the one texting Mark to send all these super chats. Last time he came up in here, he shook up the joint. Don't feel like you got to compete with Mark, man. Don't feel like that. Let me see what you have to say here. Yep, let's set it up. If you can't find me, hold up, Mark. Anywhere. This could be a very data-focused and insightful, friendly debate. I've also had the privilege of watching both, but the same points you're making are the same they could say about Kareem versus MJ. Appreciate that. Mark sounds really familiar. Man, Mark, is it the same Mark that I remember? Anyway, we're definitely, because I know there's another Mark that used to support Dreamers Pro, but about the point you made about Kareem and MJ, you already know my top 5. I think Kareem is the second greatest ever. Y'all know this already, and I'm a Kobe Bryant fan. I ain't twerking it up for Kobe like that. As much as I love Kobe, I don't think you could ignore Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's accomplishment. I just don't think you can. And I got him number 2 all time. I got Kareem number 2 all time. And if you look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record in terms of his career, let me pull him up. Let me pull up Kareem right now since we on it. Let me pull up Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let me pull up his career. Okay, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for his career averaged 24.6 points per game. He averaged 2.6 blocks. He had 2 seasons when he averaged 4 blocks per game. I want y'all to hear what the hell I just said. There were 2 seasons when Kareem, I want y'all to listen very, very carefully, when that brother led the league in averaged 4 blocks in a season. 4. There was another season in which Kareem averaged 16.9 rebounds a game. 16.9 rebounds a game. That's what Kareem averaged in one season. Then he had a season where he shot 60% from the field, but we're looking at his career, 24 points per game, 2.6 blocks, 3.6 assists, 11.2 rebounds, 72% shooting from the free throw line, which is actually really good if you compare him to Shaq, which I think also led to those points. And of course, he had all of those points. But now let's look at his career accomplishments. Kareem is a 6-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 6-time regular season MVP, 19-time All-Star. I think he tied LeBron for the most All-Star game selections. He's been on 10 All-First NBA teams, 5 second. He's been on 5 All-First defensive teams, 6 second defensive teams. So he's been on 11 all-defensive teams. He was a Rookie of the Year, 2-time scoring champion, led the league in rebounds, led the league in blocks 4 times. How is Kareem not the second greatest, or maybe to Mark's point, the greatest player of all time? How is that crazy to say? How is that crazy to say? And since somebody just left the comment, LeBron is the GOAT. Okay, this part of the live is for LeBron fans. I'm not done talking about Jordan, but since LeBron fans love this channel and they're going to be up in here with us, I got a question for LeBron fans. LeBron fans, I'm going to read you LeBron's career accomplishments. I'm going to read you Kareem's. And I'm going to ask y'all at the end, do y'all still think he should be ranked higher than Kareem? Let me read it. LeBron James, 4-time champion, 4-time Finals MVP, 4-time regular season MVP, 19-time All-Star, 3-time All-Star game MVP. That doesn't really count, but whatever. Been on what? 13 all first NBA selections. That's impressive. 3 second, 2 third, first all defensive team. Made all first defensive team 5 times. Second team, 1 time. Rookie of the year, led the league in assists, led the league in scoring 1 time. Kareem has more championships. He has less finals MVPs. He has more regular season MVPs. He has just as many all-star game selections. LeBron has what? 13 all NBA first selections. Kareem has 10, so he beat him out there in all NBA selections. Kareem has made 5 all first like LeBron, but he made 6 all second. That's 5 more than LeBron. He led him in the league in scoring more times. He led the league in rebounding. He led the league in blocks. So how does LeBron have a better resume than Kareem? How? 9 points, 3 steals, titles, 2 finals MVPs, 5 chips. That's the gap. LeBron or KD. So how? And that's why I couldn't take Nick Wright seriously. Nick Wright went up there and said, this the person that they listen to, Nick Wright. They listen to these people listen to Nick Wright. In Nick Wright's mind, he ranked LeBron ahead of Jordan and Kareem. And you got to ask yourself the question, like any other person who thinks LeBron is the GOAT, based on what? I mean, this is no disrespect to LeBron fans, but you do know that comparing LeBron to Jordan is laughable. You guys do know that. You guys are aware of that. You guys are also aware of the fact that Jordan never had a series in the NBA Finals like 2011. You guys are aware of that, right? Hold up. What am I supposed to do with that Finals? Okay, you said LeBron is the GOAT. Cool. What are we supposed to do with that Finals? What am I supposed to do with it? What are we supposed to do with that? David, final nail in the coffin in sports century, top 50 All-American athletes of the 20th century. Guess who's number 1? It's not even funny no more. No, but seriously, I appreciate the comment. What are we supposed to do with that? Let me ask y'all another question. Y'all say that he's on Jordan's level, but why does he always need help? Why does he always need help? You realize they were just trying to get Kyrie Irving? I thought he's a GOAT. So hold on, let me get this straight. You guys said that he's the greatest player at year 20. Hold up. He's the greatest player at year 20. He's 38 years old. 39, however old LeBron is. He was better than Jordan. So if Jordan, at the age of 40, 2 years older than LeBron on the calendar, was able to damn near get the Washington Wizards into the playoffs with a 37-45 record with Christian Laettner as the only Hall of Fame player, and y'all are telling me that he's better than Jordan, why couldn't he get the Lakers into the playoffs last year when he was younger, and he had more talent? He had like 5 Hall of Famers on his roster, but he's better. Help me understand that. Oh, let me guess, it's Russell Westbrook. Because Russell Westbrook, somebody said injuries, but LeBron played. Okay, cool. Okay, fine. I grant you that. What about this year? Injuries again? What's the excuse this year? What's the reason? Injuries again? Oh my God, there's still injuries. Oh Lord. Oh, God help us all, man. God help us all. I don't know what to say no more, man. I don't know what to say. Let me continue on my poor matchups. Let me continue on what I was saying. Let's talk about what Jordan did off the court. Do y'all know that to this day, Michael Jordan holds the most viewed NBA games in NBA history? Are y'all aware of that? Are you aware of that? That MJ holds the record for the most viewed games in NBA history. Are you guys aware of that? Are you also aware that the league was at its zenith, at its height, when Jordan played? Are you also aware of that? The league was more popular in the 80s and 90s than it is today. Are you guys aware of that? Are you guys aware of that? Are you also aware of the fact that Michael Jordan's Jordan brand just this last year crossed the $5 billion mark last year? Do you realize that Jordan shoes outsell, when I say by far any other NBA player's shoe in the shoe market? Are you guys aware of that? Are you guys then not going to ask yourself, but how is that possible? How's it possible? Today they did a segment on Undisputed with Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. In my honest opinion, I believe, popularity contest, it matters. Yeah, it matters. No MJ without Kareem, period. Kareem's opened the door for MJ and many other black athletes. Jordan never made it to the NBA Finals without a squad. And plus, the league was changing, but that's the era. Great points. Hold up. I think this is Mark, man. This is Mark, because I know Mark used to disagree with me. I'm trying to remember. Is this Mark? If Candace was up in here, she would tell me. This sounds like Mark, man. Mark was one of our biggest. He loves to disagree with you, but I think it may be him. I don't know if it's you, Mark, but I think it's you. I think it's Mark. I'm not sure, because I know Mark. Hold up. Let me just confirm. Man, that is Mark. That is you, man. I just realized it was you. That's Mark, man. Shout out to my guy. Mark is one of our biggest. Mark. What's funny about Mark is that Mark Mark would disagree with you no matter what. So shout out. I think that's Mark. I think it's you, man. I think it's you, man. I think it's you. Anyway, what is it? Thanks for the point that you made. You see, you made me forget my point, but the point he made was every team needs a squad, but clearly there's some players that need more help than others. Let's not say that. Like, let's not get it twisted. But to me, somebody said Mark has money to. Yeah, Mark out there balling, man. Apparently, we got some ballers on the channel, man. And I'm not the one saying he should do that, but shout out to Mark, man. Appreciate that. Anyway, to me, it's still amazing that this guy's able to sell. But anyway, yeah, back to Shannon Sharp, as I was saying. So they were talking about Skip today. I mean, they were talking about Jordan today, him and Skip. And I suggest you guys go and watch that episode, because in my personal view, I personally believe that the Shannon Sharp we saw today, when Skip Bayless was talking about Jordan's career, I honestly believe that is the Shannon Sharp that I think that is the genuine version of him. I think, I could be wrong, but I think Shannon Sharp in his heart knows that MJ is the greatest player of all time. I think he knows that. I really do. Because every single point Skip was saying, he was agreeing with him. And it made me think like, yo, I think this is what this dude really believes. I really think this is what he believes. And even Nick Wright. I don't think Nick Wright really believes what he's saying. I don't think anybody could seriously say that Jordan's the third greatest player of all time and actually be serious. Hold on, let me see. Why couldn't MJ be above the regular season before 500? Because he had no help. I think that's the fairest enough answer I can give you. The moment Jordan got another All-Star, he never lost, apart from when he came back from the the retirement. Came back, he wore number 45. They lost in the first round to the Orlando Magic. The very next season, that was the team that went to the finals, and I think lost to Hakeem's Rockets. The very next finals, they swept them. What do you mean it's an excuse? It's the truth. What are you talking about? It's the truth. It's the truth. So okay, wait. What are y'all implying? That what? Okay, he didn't win without an All-Star. So what are y'all implying? That what? He's not what? That he's overrated? Is that what y'all are saying? Help me understand. So what is the point here? What is the point we're trying to say? That Jordan's not what? That Jordan can't play. But I'm missing your point here. The Cavs were never trash. He didn't lead the Cavs were never trash. LeBron played with all-stars. Who told you that the Cavs were trash? Who said that? Those Cavs teams actually were really good, some of those teams. That's number one. Number two, let me educate some of the LeBron fans in the background. LeBron James played in the garbage Eastern Conference for a very, very long time. The East was trash. It was a cakewalk. Let's cut it out. It was more difficult to get to the finals in the Western Conference than it was to actually win the championship. Like, let's cut it out. There were not really any good teams in the Eastern Conference. Let us stop. All of the teams were winning the championship were all coming from the West Coast. All of the best teams were in the West Coast. From 2000 to 2010, how many teams in the East won the championship? How many? From 2000, appreciate that, Frank A. From 2000 to 2010, how many teams from the Eastern Conference won an NBA championship? From the year 2000 to 2010, what were the teams? You had the Detroit Pistons in 2004. You had the Detroit Pistons in 2004. Well, let me tell you the teams that won it in the West. You had Kobe's Lakers, Shaq and Lakers. They won 3. Then you had the San Antonio Spurs. They won. And then you had the Miami Heat and the Celtics. 3. 3 of the teams. 3. We had 3 of the teams. So please, let's just stop. There is absolutely no argument whatsoever to say that Jordan wasn't that dude. Like, let's just stop. Let's just stop. You cannot tell me that Jordan wasn't that dude when he went for 8 years and his team never lost in 3 games. Explain that. If he's overrated. So how do you do that if you're overrated? How do you do it? How do you do it if you're overrated? How do you win 3 championships only playing with 1 Hall of Famer? How do you 3-peat with only 1 Hall of Famer? How do you do it? How do you do it if he's overrated? How do you do it? Okay, if he's overrated, who else did it? Who else did it? Who won 3 championships in a row with just 1 Hall of Fame teammate? Who's the person that did it? LeBron never did it. He never did it. I never saw Jordan get trash talked in the finals the way LeBron did in 2000. I never saw that happen, buddy. And not make him pay for it. Okay, probably Kobe with Shaq. But some people argue that Shaq was probably better than Kobe in the first championship or whatever championship. That's why I left Kobe out. So that's my point. Anyway, this is my Michael Jordan, what do you call it? This is my Michael Jordan, what is it, tribute for the day. Just wanted to recognize the greatest player of all time and MJ in my personal view. I thought it was a good day that we just showed some love to Jordan today. Thank you guys for being a part of this live. Really appreciate it. And we got a lot of content coming out later on today. Thank you guys for being a part of this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun with you guys today. Catch you on the next one. Be on the lookout for more content on the channel. Catch y'all later. Peace. Peace.